Good morning. Good morning. Welcome or welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Wednesday, June the 19th, and we are here to look at new releases being set into the wild this week. Each day of the week, we look at a different genre, and on Wednesdays, we look at romance. On Mondays, it's cozy mysteries. On Tuesdays, it's mysteries and thrillers. And Thursdays is fantasy and science fiction. Friday is Freeform Friday, and we look at whatever we want to look at. And today is romance. It is love. It is relationships. Quick announcements. It is Wednesday. I don't do sprints on Wednesday nights. We do have them tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. I have a tickle in my nose. Elena said, Good morning. Good morning, Elena. And how am I? I'm doing pretty good. It's still early, but I am very optimistic always. And you are great. Awesome. You woke up early? I always wake up early. I'm happy that I saw you yesterday during the reading sprint. I'm happy I saw you too. I am so grateful that you are able to spend time with us. And Cajun said, Morning. I have today off, so I get to join. Hey, Elena. Well, I'm glad you're able to. Yay. It's still early. You could have slept in. I would have understood. Alrighty, let us jump into the romances. Sometimes I'm in the mood for romance. Read a really good one over the weekend by Mary McFarlane called Just Last Night. It was very good. It also dealt with grief, so it wasn't fluffy. This one is All Roads Lead to Rome by Sabrina Fidel. When the daughter of a diplomat fake dates a Scottish celebrity in Italy, she soon finds herself living her own Roman holiday until the feelings get real and the paparazzi's knives come out. This might be interesting in an audiobook if the person can do Scottish accents. Introverted, slightly anxious Astoria Story Harriet knows everything about Rome. Her mother's her mom's an attorney here, and the two of them are living la dolce vita, at least until Story's off to college in the fall. When the, but when Story is in the wrong gelato shop at the right time, she's swept up in a fake dating scheme with Scottish heartthrob Luca Kinnaird to protect his relationship with a pop princess. There's something in it for her too. Luca promises to help fund a scholarship in her dad's memory. Soon she's showing Luca the best cafes, sightseeing at the Mouth of Truth, and picnicking at the ruins of the Abbey of Santa Maria del Piano. Stories, travel guide skills are 10 out of 10, but what she knows about being a celebrity or having feelings for one, zero. Pretending to be Luca's guide, then his girlfriend gets the paparazzi's attention, and what's true and what's fake gets blurry as their different worlds crash together. Blah, blah, blah. Sophisticated, hot, rich, and with the most charming accent ever, Luca is full of surprises, and maybe too is Story's perfectly planned future. It's a fairy tale romance in the Eternal City. Will it have a fairy tale ending? I bet so. I woke up at the same time every day, and once I'm awake, but just been playing games and reading. May take a nap later, though. That sounds like an excellent plan. I am also a morning person. On weekends, I might sleep in an hour, but I like those early mornings. But naps are lovely too. One Star Romance by Laura Hankin. A struggling writer is forced to walk down the aisle at her best friend's wedding with the man who gave her a book of very public one-star rating in this fresh blah blah blah. Natalie and Rob couldn't have less in common. Nat's a messy artist and Rob's a rigid academic. The only thing they share is their devotion to their respective best friends who just got engaged. Still, unexpected chemistry has Natalie cautiously optimistic about being maid of honor to Rob's best man. Until minutes before the ceremony, Nat learns that Rob wrote a one-star review of her new book, which has them both reeling. So what? You didn't like your book. Get over it. Nat from imposter syndrome and Rob over the reason he needed to write it. When the reception ends, these two opposites hope they'll never meet again. But as they slip from their 20s into their 30s, they're forced together whenever their fast track best friends celebrate another milestone. Through housewarmings and christenings, life changing triumphs and failures, Natalie and Rob grapple with their choices and how your harshest critic can become your perfectly imperfect match. After all, even the truest love stories sometimes need a bit of rewriting. Honey, if you can't take some criticism, you should not be a writer. Right where we left off by Jen Devon. Temperance Jean Madigan and Duncan Brady, does he not get a middle name too? Have never gotten it right. After one radiant secret summer together they were when they were 18, they've been on again, off again ever since. Now, despite red hot chemistry and TJ's closeness with Duncan's family, they are virtually strangers, only capable of adversarial banter, awkward small talk, and the occasional messy hookup. When a wedding at the Brady's vineyard lands TJ there for the summer, their mutual avoidance strategies prove impossible. The last thing TJ wants to be is to be under those angsty, heated glances Duncan thinks he hides. And for Duncan, having fiery TJ constantly close is the ultimate distraction that he absolutely can't afford. When forced proximity begins to chip away at their armor, buried tensions resurface, old wounds urge confrontation, and once in a lifetime love demands one last chance to finally get it right. The Art of Catching Feelings. Needs coffee. By Alicia Thompson. A professional baseball player and his heckler prove that true love is worth going to bat for. You knew they were going to do that kind of metaphor analogy. Daphne Brink doesn't follow baseball, but watching America's Snooze Fest certainly beats sitting at home in the days after she signs her divorce papers. After one too many ballpark beers, she heckles Carolina Battery player Chris Kepler, who quickly proves there might actually be a little crying in baseball. Horrified, Daphne reaches out to Chris on social media to apologize, but forgets to identify herself as his heckler in her message. Chris doesn't usually respond to random fans on social media, but he's grieving and fragile after an emotionally turbulent few months. When a DM from Ducky catches his eye, he impulsively messages back. Ducky is sweet, funny, and seems to understand him in a way no one else does. Daphne isn't sure how much longer she can keep lying to Chris, especially as she starts working with the team in real life and their feelings for each other deepen. When he finds out the truth, will it be three strikes, she's out? The Calculation of You and Me by Serena Kaler. The calculus nerd enlists her surly classmates' help to win back her ex-boyfriend, but when sparks start to fly, she realizes there's no algorithm for falling in love. Marlo Meadows understands a lot of things. She understands that calculus isn't overwhelmingly beautiful to everyone and that it typically kills the mood when you're trying to talk Python coding over beer pong. She understands that people were surprised when Golden Boy Josh asked her out, and she went from weird math-obsessed Marlo to half of their school's couples goals. Unfortunately, Marlo was the one surprised when Josh dumped her because he'd prefer a girlfriend who's more romantic, one with emotional depth. But Marlo has never failed anything in her life, and she isn't about to start now. When she's paired with Ashton Hayes for an English project, his black clothing and moody eyeliner cause a bit of a systems overload, and the dissonant sounds of his rock band make her brain itch. But when she discovers Ash's hidden stash of love songs, Marlo makes a desperate deal to unleash her inner romantic heroine. If Ash will agree to help her write some love letters to win back Josh, she'll calculate the perfect data and analytics formula to make Ash's band go viral. As the semester heats up with yearning love notes, a syllabus of romantic novels, and late nights spent with a boy who escapes any box her brain tries to put him in, Marlowe tries to question if there's really a set solution to love. Could a girl who's never met a problem she can't solve have gotten the math so massively wrong? Why, yes, yes, she could. And that was the book I was talking about. Sorry. I'm off my game this morning. 15 Summers Later by Rayanne Thane. 15 summers ago, everything changed. Ava Howell seemed to have it all. She moved away from Emerald Creek, Idaho, married the love of her life, and published a best selling memoir, but she never expected that her husband would feel so betrayed by a secret from her past, the truth of what happened to her and her sister all those years ago, that he'd walk away. Now Ava is back home and trying to move on with the only person who can truly understand. Following years of healing, Madison Howell is finally happy. After college, she built a no-kill shelter where she works with animals every day, and she's in love with the town veterinarian, Dr. Luke Gentry. But she can't ever bring herself to tell him. Years ago, his dad died protecting Maddie and her sister, so how could he love her back? With the truth laid bare in the past that Ava and Madison have worked so hard to leave behind, threatening everything they've built for themselves, the Howell sisters' reunion is bittersweet. And as Ava and Maddie attempt to remedy the rifts in their lives and reconcile their futures, they must face the demons of their past together. All our tomorrows. Looks like there's an heirs theme here. When Chase Stone's estranged father dies, leaving his multi-billion dollar business to his children, no one is more surprised than Chase. Growing up outside of the high stakes world filled with human vultures, Chase and his sister Alex are less than enthusiastic about stepping into their father's shoes. That is, until they learn of a half brother they didn't know existed and must find to share their inheritance with. Piper Maddox was the elder Mr. Stone's uber capable assistant, abruptly fired 2 weeks before his death. She knows everything about Stone Enterprises and the man who built it, but Piper has no desire to work for another member of the Stone family, even one as down to earth as Chase. Desperately needing financial security, Piper agrees to return so long as kissing up to Chase and unaccepting unwanted advances are not part of her job description, a promise that becomes a serious hurdle for both of them. Piper and Chase scramble to find the third Stone sibling before the media does, sharing secrets along the way, secrets that can bring them together or tear them irrevocably apart. Her part to play. Let's take a look at the Kindle. Yeah. This is by Jenny Erlingson. Desperate for extra income after her mother's passing, Ad- Adani accepts a last minute job as a makeup artist for a movie filming in her small Alabama hometown. She's working to save her parents' legacy and help her brother, but the money hardly to face seems worth having to face the actor who got her fired from her last job in Hollywood. John Pope has made his share of mistakes over the years, but after turning his life over to God and enduring a messy breakup, he's ready to start rebuilding his career. Imagine his surprise when the woman called in to cover for his usual makeup artist is a quiet but feisty newcomer on the set, and definitely not a fan. Sparks of tension and could that be attraction? Fly between them, but Adani hates the spotlight, and John's scheming manager has bigger plans for him than to end up with the humble makeup girl from the small town south. Can these star-crossed lovers find their way to happiness, or will the bright lights of Hollywood blind their eyes to what's right in front of them? And this is a debut author. Good for her. Lady Scandal by Laura Lee Gerke. Second in the Scandal at the Savoy series. Victorian. Delia Stratham is an unconventional woman. While other ladies learned proper decorum at finishing school, she composed naughty limericks and admired the gardener's muscular legs. So naturally, when she's widowed for the third time, she does the unthinkable. She gets a job. Planning events for the Savoy Hotel is perfect for someone with her skills, but her dream career turns into a nightmare when she's forced to work with the most annoying and gorgeous man she's ever met. Hotel magnate Simon Hayden knows something fishy is going on at the Savoy. The hotel is constantly busy, yet the books say it's in the red. He's determined to root out the fraud and its perpetrators, and that means spending time with one of the most likely suspects, the delectable, infuriating Lady Stratham. She's definitely getting in his way and under his skin, and he can't decide whether to fire her or kiss her until she stops arguing. But when the sparks between them flare into flame, Simon must choose between his love for Delia and his duty to the hotel. Will his choice bring them together or tear them apart? Dang it, I apologize. I keep missing putting on this on the tabs. What's wrong? Other than a week off would be great. I know. How would I keep myself in books? And I don't buy lottery tickets often. Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher, second in the Lakefront Billionaires. Raphael. Ellie Sinclair is a hopeless romantic who writes love songs. I'm a struggling workaholic who could inspire 100 breakup albums. On paper, we have nothing in common except for my son. For 8 months, I avoid her until our summer trip. 14 days, 2 islands, and one nanny I shouldn't be attracted to. Spending time with Ellie is expected, but enjoying her company, this isn't part of our travel plans. After my divorce, I swore to protect my heart at all costs, even if it means breaking hers in the process. Ellie. What's worse than working for a grumpy single dad? Admitting that I once had a secret crush on him in high school. Thankfully, Rafael Lopez and I have changed since we graduated from Wisteria High. He's a billionaire with a company to run and a child to take care of. I'm unemployed. I'm an unemployed songwriter he hired to watch his son and teach music. What are her qualifications to take care of a child? We coexist without any issues until a vacation changes everything. Lines blur and old feelings for Raphael return with a vengeance as I face a new dilemma. Being his son's nanny is one thing, but wishing for more sounds like a heartbreak song waiting to be written. One Night Stand Ever After by Amanda Hewson, third in the Unforgettable Fire. Anna Rivera may not be ready to say goodbye to her burlesque troupe or New York City, but she's determined to go out with a bang, which is when she sees a face in the crowd that sends her heart rate through the roof. Max Cooper, her brother's friend and the object of many, many teenage fantasies. But while Max may look like Sin in a suit, he's not prepared for the moves she's got in store. Max knows he should turn away, and Anna's been off limits forever. But he can't help himself. The electric connection sizzles between them, but Max knows better than to play with fire. This calls for rules, boundaries. I did it again. Setting out expectations. Just a hot little hookup, and that's it. But fate plays dirty. Soon Max and Anna find themselves stuck in their small hometown together, and avoiding that sexy spark is impossible. Now they're sneaking around enjoying 1 month of no holds barred, unbelievably wicked sex, until Anna leaves for her next gig. And all the consequences in the world might not be enough to stop this fling they've started. Interesting take. She's a burlesque dancer. Oops. Rocky Mountain Journey by Misty M. Beller, third in the Sisters of the Rockies. Faith, that's a pretty cover. Faith Collins embarks on a perilous journey through the untamed wilderness of the Rocky Mountains in search of the pagan Blackfoot woman who once saved her father's life. Masquerading as a man, she follows a group of trappers who may be able to lead her to the place the woman is hiding, but keeping Faith's identity a secret proves more difficult than she imagined. No kidding. Grant Allen is searching for his younger brother who was separated from him when their parents died many years ago. After receiving word that his brother went west to the Rockies, he joins a band of trappers, hoping they can lead him to his brother's location. Soon, Grant realizes there's a woman hiding among the men, and he's determined to find out her identity, what she's hiding, and how he can keep her safe in this country of wild animals and even wilder men. Viscount's Marriage of Inconvenience by Barbara Russell. Fourth in the Victorian Outcasts. England, 1882. Keith, a servant in a rich house, feels nothing but gratitude for the Sharp family. They rescue him from a miserable life and welcome him into their home, and Miss Violente Sharp teaches him how to read. She's so kind and pretty that he can't help but fall for her. But when Keith learns that Mr. Sharp is part of an anarchist organization planning to blow up a politician's house and kill people, he doesn't hesitate to warn the police, ready to pay the consequences. Violante's life goes from riches to rags after the police kill her father and storm Sharp Manor. Discovering her beloved papa was an anarchist breaks her heart. If only Keith had talked to her instead of going to the police. Good thing she doesn't want to see him again. She has lived on the streets for years, stealing wallets and watches. Keith instead made a fortune and was even granted a title. Not recognizing him, she steals his pocket watch in the street. He catches her, but instead of calling the police, he offers her a marriage proposal. He needs a wife to secure a deal with a strict Italian count who won't do business with bachelors. She has nothing to lose, but does she want to pretend to be the wife of the man who ruined her family? I think she will overcome that obstacle. We'll quickly do a next one, this last one, even though the bell rang. Hearts on Thin Ice by Katie Kennedy. A pro hockey player falls for an interior designer. Nick Sorensen had once been one of the fastest men in hockey until the devastating plane crash that took the lives of his best friends, leaving him the only survivor. Now he's physically ready to get back on the ice, but his coach is concerned Nick isn't doing as well mentally as he says he is. Case in point, Nick's apartment is completely empty, apart from a single chair and a mattress on the floor. To prove he's fine, really, Nick hires Alyssa Compton, an up and coming interior designer, to decorate his space. Alyssa's thrilled at the chance to prove herself to her demanding boss. With job security at last, maybe she can finally put down roots and create a home for herself too. But Nick turns out to be infuriating, stubborn, and impossible to work with, and just when Alyssa decides to throw in the towel on the whole thing, Nick shows up for her in a way she never could have expected. The icy path ahead of them, of these two lost souls, may be slippery and cracking, but when it comes to love, sometimes all you need is someone on your team. All right. That is it for romance this week, as best as I could find. It's a pretty cover. Yeah, some of those were pretty. All righty. So, again, we don't have any sprints tonight on Wednesday night. We do have them tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. And tomorrow's morning show, we'll be looking at fantasy and science fiction. And then on Friday morning, we'll be looking at more historical mysteries for the Midsummer Mist Readathon. Have a good day. You too. Enjoy your day off. Hope the traffic isn't too bad. Ugh, going to work isn't bad because I go to work early. Like I leave pretty much right after I get done here. But it's the going home. Going home at 5 o'clock sucks. But thank you. Oh, hope you guys have a good rest of your day reading good books. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom nom. Have a good day. God bless.